Hello, this is the Tradesight US Stocks and Futures Market Preview for Tuesday, the 4th of May, 2021. I hope you had a good trading day. Wasn't very exciting again. You can see it on the chart here. Here's the ES front month futures contract. This is the daily chart of the broad market in futures form. Doesn't really matter. We'll compare it to the rest of the last week or so in a few minutes, but the daily chart does not look interesting, obviously. Crude oil down 2 cents to 64.47. That's a blip. Gold down $2.10. That's also a blip to 17.89.70. The S&P cash gained $11.49, but that puts it right in the range we've been in for a while. NASDAQ 100 down 61, so that's looking a little weaker. And remember, we had that sell signal in the trend on Thursday. SOX down 35. This thing's been weakening for 2 weeks. Biotech's down just 2 points, but this has never been very strong. Again, it's just the S&P that's kind of holding up. Russell 2000 up 11. That's fine. The VIX loses 30 cents to 1831. Okay, the trend closes at 0.99, puts the 10-day at 0.94. But remember, we already have the sell signal with the 10-day moving average under 0.85. So there is that. You don't get that very often. NASDAQ volume 4.7 billion. No one cares. Advanced decline ratio on the NASDAQ was positive, just barely, plus 320. It was negative earlier in the day. On the New York, though, plus 1208. So way more positive on the New York side than it was on the NASDAQ. Google loses $10.42. Did not gap down, so we don't have a floating island. You can still get one if you gap down on Tuesday. Apple up $1.08, but it's been literally, this thing's been stuck for, even with the earnings that one day, stuck for 2.5 weeks. Netflix down $4.36. Tried to break out and failed. This thing tried to break down and failed, tried to break up and failed after being stuck after the gap down on earnings. Very strange. And Amazon, though, loses 80.93. So this thing's off a couple hundred points since the gap up on earnings, but it never really held the highs from back in 8 months ago. Tesla down 24.54. Facebook loses $2.50. Looks interesting on the short side, actually. Zoom down $5.65. This also looks interesting on the short side. Goldman Sachs up $1.71. Looks more interesting on the long side if it were to break out. TLT, the 20-year bond ETF, up 8 cents. There's nothing there. But obviously interest rates trying to get back down as the bonds head up. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 238 points. The Bitcoin was down over 2,000 to 55,000. That's still holding up pretty well when you think about it. Now here's the 5-minute or 10-minute chart of the ES. So here's the problem. So you can see, like, this is the prior, if I go all the way back to 2 Fridays ago, here's that candle up, that white candle, right? It got us up here, and now we're in this range. So then we spent the back end of that Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, gapped up Thursday and came back into the range, closed higher, but gapped down Friday, stuck in the range. So at that point, you're still where you were, and then we gapped up today and made it back down in the range. So we're still in this dang range. We haven't done anything with it. And the NASDAQ side, a little bit weaker, obviously. It's been slipping, and that's the one thing I keep trying to point out to people is that, you know, the S&P shows you nothing's going on. We've got a sell signal in the market, but the NASDAQ side is heading down. So be very aware of that. The calendar says this for Tuesday here in the U.S. We've got trade balance at 8:30, so we'll be half size ahead of that for forex. Factory orders at 10. Tip IBD economic optimism number at one point in time, and that's it. Got still China and Japan on bank holiday for another day. Charts as usual brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading Tuesday.